Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
It's like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let them hate.
So this is a video that I have been dying to make over the past month or two. As you all are more than aware, I love watching and making videos about young players and their growth and development. It's my niche and a part of what I love to do. And a part of the reason why I'm making this video is not only catch y'all up, but catch myself up as well. The thing about trying to figure out who is the steal of such and such NBA draft is that things consistently change and fluctuate, and whenever someone like me or one of your other favorite content creators call someone the steal of some recent draft, you must know that that is of course a prediction, and predictions are nothing more than educated guesses. Roles change, young players get steered in the wrong direction, and opportunities and leaps are given and are larger than others. Everybody has a different path. It's just life, man. Some guys who were steals just a few years ago was Malcolm Brogdon, who was a bona fide baller now, who was taken in the second round, and DeJounte Murray, who was drafted in that same year, went 29th. Wait a minute, that sounds super familiar. Real quick, before we start this video, boys, I need you to do me a favor. Subscribe right now to the Rusty, Mojo, and Rudy show. I know. You only heard me mention that show, that podcast in a minute, and that's for good reason too, bro. I be messing up and I be forgetting. But today, I didn't forget. We've been back in our bag and have been uploading podcasts on that channel consistently. A lot of y'all just haven't realized it. So to get to know me personally, my friends, and also just how we think on a day-to-day basis, go ahead and subscribe to that podcast channel. Link will be right there. And also, while you're at it, follow me on Instagram too. In last year's NBA draft, there were so many candidates, as usual, for the steal of the draft title. Matisse Thybulle, Brandon Clark, Eric Paschall, Bobo are just a few players who were thought to have a strong chance at the steal of the draft, meaning that such and such player were drafted much lower than he was supposed to be. And considering such player was a valuable high-end talent taken at a low-value pick. The person I'm mainly referring to right now, who has been crowned way before he even played his first official game in the NBA as the steal of the draft, was KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. Y'all know the name already. KPJ has been in the news a lot over the past like 2 to 3 months, but sadly for all the wrong reasons. Reasons that have possibly taken him out of the conversation for the steal of the draft, at least until further notice. KPJ has the physique, offensive psyche, and bag, a big bag might I say, to be a great offensive player in this league. Many thought that he was the Cavs' best young player out of their entire core. Better than Darius Garland, better than Colin Sexton, and anyone else you can think of on that roster. KPJ was beloved by the draft community, but a lot of that love has been lost, at least for now though. Someone who has taken it is the 29th overall pick from the 2019 NBA draft. Just one pick ahead of KPJ, and that pick was Keldon Johnson. I was on game about Keldon Johnson way before he got all this newfound popularity. Now if you're thinking about this, oh, you want your cookie, man? Answer the question that you have in your head right now. Yes, I want my cookie for not being tardy to the party. Keldon in his Kentucky days showed a bunch of glimpses and flashes, and he was on my list, I believe, for one of the most underrated players people needed to pay attention to from the 2019 NBA draft. Now if I find a clip of me from the year 2019 talking about Keldon Johnson, then I'm gonna go ahead and insert it in the video. If I can't find it, then bro, that just means that I can't find it. Update, I couldn't find it, which means that I need to move on to the next tangent. Keldon averaged about 13 and 6 on pretty good efficiency, nothing too crazy, but because of the way the college game is played and the pace of it, it was really hard to see the future great NBA player in Keldon Johnson. The pace was too slow for such an undersized but ferocious player, and his shot wasn't good enough to sell him to fans and GMs and scouts at that very moment. That's what's tough about trying to scout out college players and envisioning them in a certain situation and environment, and breaking down certain skills that that player has and assuming that those skills would be easily transferable, and maybe even amplified in the NBA, which runs a more diverse, more complicated, and breathable offense, rather than a clogged offense that only features maybe one, or if you're lucky, two, maybe three NBA players. The rest of them are going to be overseas players, and the majority of them are going to be like, who knows, future real estate agents, or maybe even the manager at Costco who just happens to be like 6'7". That's just how it is, man. The point that I'm trying to make is that it is not hard to see why Keldon got drafted so late. Man's worked his tail off though, and since then put up numbers in the G League. When I say numbers, man was a 20-point per game scorer over there, and things were just not fair. He clearly proved that he was too talented and better than most of his competition, and he got a raise that he deserved and was called up to the NBA. But where things really took a turn and shift for him in his NBA career was the NBA bubble, where he saw the most amount of opportunity. That was the turning point for Keldon Johnson's career. This 29th overall pick since then has been named the starting power forward for all of his positive quantities, such as his ability to throw his weight around. That is a very underrated aspect about his game if you ask me. Now he obviously is strong and has a lot of good muscle on his body, but the thing about him is that he knows how to use his weight and get the maximum result, which also results in his defender being off balance like crazy. Him being undersized doesn't mean a jack diddly squat damn thing in the NBA, especially today. If he's gonna be this relentless and just physical monster and beast in the paint going downhill, then he's going to have a place in the NBA for a very long time. Now I'm not gonna sit over here and call Keldon a future star. Now I'm not gonna sit over here and call Keldon Johnson a future star, no. But what I will do is call him a ultra valuable role player who has a strong chance at being something, maybe one day more than just a role player. He is a key piece to any successful team, and his success is a big reason why the San Antonio Spurs aren't viewed as a completely irrelevant team like they were the past few years. Guys like me and Rusty Buckets and maybe other YouTubers were talking about how the San Antonio Spurs were completely irrelevant and should have never made that Kawhi Leonard trade, which I'm pretty sure we all still agree with. They should have never to the Toronto Raptors, but they did what they did. And right now they're not weeping in their sorrows, and nobody is crucifying them for being stuck up on their pride. With this 29th overall pick that they got in 2019, funny enough, they used it in one of the biggest and most important pieces to their rebuild, which is Keldon Johnson right now. The Spurs now have a slew of young players who look like they have a very bright future in the league. DeJounte Murray, like I said a couple years ago, was another steal from the 2017 NBA draft, and he's putting up numbers. He drastically improved. That guy, Derek White, was also considered a steal. That man, Lonnie Walker, could be considered as a steal. And now Keldon Johnson, which is arguably, you can argue that he's the best player, or at least one of the better players from their young core, is looking like a steal. Who would have known that Keldon Johnson may have been the real steal out of the 2019 NBA draft? This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for coming over here on my video and seeing what I have to talk about today. Now once again, bro, I always say this, and I still haven't found my answer. Why are you watching me make videos at 3 a.m. in the morning right now? I don't know what time it is over there, but for me right now, bro, it's 3 a.m. and you're watching me talk about someone named Keldon Johnson. That is really weird to you. You're in my business, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I ain't gonna lie, I kinda like it. Anyways, keep on doing what you do, keep on supporting me, keep on growing and thriving as an individual, and hopefully you can watch me as an individual grow and thrive as I try to grow and thrive this channel. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Go ahead and do all that, and more important than all that, subscribe to the Rusty Mojo and Rudy Show. But more important than all that, for real, I hope that you make your day great. Until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it free to wait, told my girl who'd ever